In the news tonight, funeral gatherings continue to be a super spreader event. Ministry of Health ramps up screening efforts. And vaccination drive continues in the Central Division.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nana.
Bulawinaka, Fiji. Funeral gatherings have been identified as the most troublesome events, causing a spike in COVID-19 cases, resulting in alarming daily tolls. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says funeral gatherings are super spreaders where protocols aren't followed. Apani Sawanga Irandovo reports people are urged to adjust to the current situation and only allow up to 10 persons at any funeral.
The Ministry of Health says people have been found twisting measures to suit personal satisfaction.
Our investigations have indicated that in some instances, some of these funeral gatherings went up to 100 persons. And what was done was that they split up the 100 persons into 5 bubbles of 20 persons. Many of you will understand that this does not make sense.
Head of Health Protection Dr. Alisha Shaul Khan says majority of new cases are linked to existing clusters.
These clusters are large because they're associated with mass gathering events, in this case funerals. We've asked that funerals be reduced to a certain size. Please listen to our directives. Don't attend social events.
The ministry's chief medical advisor adds while it is difficult not to see off a loved one, Fijians must sacrifice to honor them.
I know because I have made the change when a death occurred in my family last month. Although difficult, I suspended condolences. No ring, no 4th night, no 10th night, and so on, to a later date.
The hierarchies of the health ministry is advising that Fijians can always hold a memorial event for their loved ones when we return to some normalcy. Apenisong Grandobu, FBC News.
The Nawaka tramline settlement in Nandi has been identified as an area of concern. This was confirmed by Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong earlier today. Dr. Fong says the settlement will also be a screening zone. The Ministry of Health has also set up screening and isolation zones in other areas within the Nandi containment area. These include Korodiri settlement, Nawachi Kuma settlement and Ngina Road settlement. It adds that this is being done to check for COVID-like symptoms and travel histories that may have put residents in the path of Fijians living with COVID-19. Mobile teams visited the area today to screen and swab residents, and this will continue over the next few days. The ministry is calling on residents in these areas to stay home and avoid any contact with people from outside their households. Fijians will notice aggressive screening and testing in the Suva-Nosori corridor following the significant increase in the number of cases of COVID-19. The Ministry of Health says more areas will be cordoned off as part of their ongoing investigation as they try to stomp out COVID-19 from the community. Kritika Kumar reports.
The ministry is expecting the number of cases to rise as they are testing in areas where they know the virus is spreading.
So once again, the public will see a lot of our team going around cordoning off various places. That's all part of the investigation. And this will become a more common sight as the number of cases begin to escalate.
Dr. James Fong says extra vigilance will be exercised within the containment zones. An effort of COVID-safe measures will be strengthened to ensure the virus does not spread.
COVID-safe measures such as limitation on movements and gatherings, wearing of masks, physical distancing, and other measures designed to prevent people from coming into contact with the virus.
Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Chemesa Tundravu says, while screening continues, Fijians need to follow the COVID-safe measures in place.
Wash your hands regularly, practice correct cough and sneeze etiquette, maintain social distancing, and stay at home if you don't have a good reason to move.
Fijians have been urged to download the Care Fiji app and to keep the Bluetooth on at all times. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Nandi Chamber of Commerce President Dr. Ram Raju has expressed disappointment at the decision to bring contacts of COVID-19 cases from the Central Division to Nandi for quarantine. Dr. Raju says he discovered that a busload of COVID-19 contacts have been housed in a few hotels since Wednesday night. Details with Felipe Naikaso.
Dr. Ram Raju told FBC News that their pleas opposing the accommodation of COVID contacts in Nandi has gone unheeded.
I think it's a little unwise that the contacts have been allowed to travel and stay in the hotels in Nandi. So that is posing a threat, and I think there is genuine concerns raised by my members.
Dr. Raju says bringing contacts to the West may hinder the opening up of certain restrictions, especially for businesses.
There is a fair good ground. In fact, all the businesses can open across the board.
I need this one, the curfew. Will we go back to normal 11 o'clock like that? Because I never sit down here, the people is eating here my restaurant, and it spoils my business.
A few non-essential businesses have echoed similar sentiments. They've stated that they want a few of the restrictions to be lifted so that they're able to generate economic activities in the Western Division. Philip and Ikaso, FBC News.
The second wave of the pandemic has forced vaccination teams to be proactive and ensure every eligible Fijian has access to the vaccine. Vaccination Task Force head Dr. Rachel Devi says they are working with the Fiji Police Force to ensure social distancing is maintained as the cases are escalating. Kritika Kumar reports.
Previous vaccination drives had seen people flocking in for the jab. However, this time around, the Ministry of Health is prioritizing people's safety alongside vaccinating them against the virus.
And we're just allowing individuals to appear at those vaccination sites who live around that area. So that kind of limits individuals. Otherwise, I know people would flock from all over Suva to those vaccination sites.
The vaccine will be made available to all eligible individuals, but Fijians have been urged to wait for their turn.
And when your when we're close to you and your area is called out, you can just come in and get the jab. It's a lot easier that way, and the wait time is a lot less.
Vaccination drive continues in Vitilevu, and Fijians have been seen adhering to the COVID-safe measures put in place by the ministry.
I want to get vaccinated is because just to protect myself, because you can see what's been going around the world, especially in India. Very dangerous.
I just want to get vaccinated because I care about my family and my fellow people.
Dr. Devi says their campaign is going well as they have recorded a high uptake of the vaccine. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Up ahead, Fijians urged to shop within their areas. And residents of Wailea settlement enjoy hot meals. Welcome back. In an effort to stop the further spread of COVID-19 in Suva, businesses are calling on people to shop in their own areas. The Suva Retailers Association says this is more convenient and helps authorities such as the Health Ministry with their contact tracing efforts. Kelly Vadala reports.
Minimizing movement in the city is crucial to containing the COVID virus.
Don't have to come to the city in the buses and all those things. Look for a nearest supermarket in your area, shop there, make the thing easy for everyone, and that's one way we can stop the spread of the virus going everywhere.
However, despite this plea, this was Suva around midday. A lot of movement was evident, especially in supermarkets and the market.
This came straight from Colombo. Just want to come to town to buy the sort of veggies which are not available from our side in the city.
Sufficient for me to come down to Suva using public transportation to buy things in Suva where there is one-stop shop.
I come from Cunningham Stage 1 to buy the vegetable and the other thing because that side we can't hardly find it.
The increasing number of COVID cases in the Suva Nosori containment area is a call for individual responsibility.
Let's just take this thing seriously, stay home, mask up, and listen to the authorities. That's the most important thing.
Some of these businesses have been struggling financially to keep up with their expenses as they've remained closed for almost a month now. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Despite the significant increase in coronavirus cases, some continue to disregard the health restrictions and curfew orders. 23 arrests were recorded over the last 24 hours for breach of health restrictions and curfew orders. A breach of the containment area was recorded in Rakiraki, where a 42-year-old man crossed the Naria containment zone and entered Nadilau. The Western Division recorded 6 cases, including 2 men in their 40s, loitering around the Tavakumbu area in Lautoka during curfew. The Southern Division recorded 15 cases, where 2 were filed in the Eastern Division, while 2 were filed in the Eastern Division. Of the 15 cases in the Southern Division, 3 men aged 18 were found walking along Velau Drive in Kinoya. A 21-year-old farmer was found loitering near the Moni Coastal Containment Zone, while 4 cases of intoxication were recorded at Tamavuaiwai. A resort in Pacific Harbour is assisting staff through various initiatives to ensure they're able to meet their needs during the second wave of COVID-19. The Uprising Beach Resort Management is helping workers through a Lovo fundraising effort to help staff who are hit hardest by the pandemic. Kritika Kumar reports.
Director Renee Munch says even though the resort is closed, he kept paying his staff. However, it has come to a point where he can no longer continue doing this.
My bank accounts are dry. I've done everything I can. I've even downsized my property to be able to give the staff money. But now I said, look, let's think outside the box. We're not a resort anymore. We have a vehicle, we have a mobile phone, we have able bodies, we have land, we have assets and resources to use for them to make money for themselves.
Apart from this initiative, a piece of land along the highway has also been allocated for the staff to sell market produce.
So we've cleared a bit of area there, we've leveled it off with gravel, and again I told the staff, here's a vacant lot, and to be creative, create community markets, people can come and sell in one spot.
We were challenged by him to think outside the box, and we are so thankful that we had to come up with this idea of making Lovo, especially to assist our staff.
Despite the challenges, the resort has not let any of its staff go. Munch says some roles became redundant and the staff were moved into other roles while some moved on. 2 years ago, the resort had 86 staff. Today, they are left with 15. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Families in Wailea settlement in Suva today enjoyed hot meals thanks to non-government organization First Responders. The NGO has been helping needy families in Navua as well as Lautoka. This is the first time the NGO is helping in Suva, and they were able to provide 100 food packs to Fijians in Wailea. Team leader for Suva, Joseph Work, says a similar distribution was held in Lautoka today, and the NGO is also starting to support towards providing baby stuff.
We also distribute baby packages, which has essentials for babies, to help families who have infants and children and they don't have the means to support them.
The Lupus Foundation of Fiji recorded over 60 people who had lupus in the last 2 years, and the youngest patient is a 6-year-old. With no specialists available in Fiji to detect lupus, this autoimmune disease has become a growing concern. Jeshulal reports the month of May has been dedicated to raising awareness on lupus, and the foundation has been able to inform Fijians about how to treat this potentially deadly disease.
Rani Hassan, a 40-year-old lupus survivor, says this disease could not be detected in her at an early stage because there were no specialized doctors available.
2 years back, with the foundation, as we started to reach out, creating the awareness, I found out that the health system did not know about lupus as well. We would walk into our clinics with some of the doctors and they would be as lost as we were.
Foundation coordinator Unatui Tombo says this year they have been able to reach more people.
And, we are trying to be out there and getting our message across, and we found that this year we are able to reach out a lot more around the country than we had been in the last 2 years.
With this year's theme being Making Lupus Visible, the foundation is trying to educate children about the disease as well.
The international logo for the year is called Make Lupus Visible. So we have been trying to make lupus visible by talking about this, not only to our adult audiences, but we are reaching out to children as well.
The foundation is creating awareness on the disease virtually at the moment due to social gathering restrictions. Jeshulal, FBC News.
In sports, Fiji Pearls frontliners please coach. And 7 switch for Samu Kerevi. Welcome back. Among frontliners playing a crucial role in the containment of COVID-19 are members of the national netball team. Goal shooter Lydia Panapasa and defender Apisake Kahatoka are only 2 of the many sportsmen and women heeding the call of duty. Tale Matairakula reports.
From the court to the front line, support from the netball fraternity does not waver.
I'm thinking about them a lot, and I really want them, to stay safe and stay healthy, and just to say that, we're very, very proud of the job that they do, day in, day out, in helping keep Fiji safe and helping to move us through this pandemic.
Netball Fiji continues to check on the well-being of its athletes.
Being updated on the athletes that are out there on the front line. I think we've got a couple of nurses and police officers, and we're just really proud of the work that they're doing, along with everyone else that's working on the front line, the immense work that they're putting in and the sacrifices that they're making. We just wish them all the best and we continue to pray for them to be safe out there.
Apart from this, the national netters are doing their own training under the program set by head coach Jenny Brazil. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
It will be a proud moment tomorrow for flying Fijians lock Apisalame Ratuniyarawa when he runs on for his 100th game for English club Northampton Saints. Fiji-born Wallaby star Samu Kerevi has switched to sevens as the Tokyo Olympic Games draw closer. Australia Sevens coach Tim Walsh confirmed the news today. Former All Black Sevens rep and Hurricanes winger Salesi Rayasi scored a double last night in a 43-6 thrashing of Australia's Western Force in round 3 of Super Rugby Trans Tasman. Rayasi could have scored 3, but he had his 18th minute try disallowed. 4 Fiji Mbati reps were in action last night in round 12 of the NRL, but they were all on the losing sides. Braden William scored for the Dragons, while Marcelo Montoya also crossed for the Warriors. The Dragons were beaten 34-18 by West Tigers, and Warriors lost 29-28 to Cowboys. Generally cloudy conditions and showers were experienced over most parts of the country today. In the west, fine morning with a cloudy afternoon. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mainly cloudy with some showers. In the north, some showers with isolated thunderstorms. At sea, southeast to northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, moderate seas, moderate southerly swells. The next low tide is at 3:11 a.m. with high tide at 9:21 a.m. Tomorrow, sunrise is at 6:30. The outlook for tomorrow expects showers with isolated thunderstorms and possible heavy falls over Vanua Levu, Taviuni and northern Lau Group. Cloudy periods with afternoon showers over the eastern, northern and interior parts of Viti Levu and Lomai Viti Group. For Monday, some showers and isolated thunderstorms over the 2 main islands and for the Lomai Viti Group as well. Now recapping our main stories, funeral gatherings continue to be a super spreader event. Ministry of Health ramps up screening efforts and vaccination drives continue in the Central Division. For these stories and others, you can tune into our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, do you think Fijians are abiding by restrictions to curb the spread of COVID-19? Visit our FBC News website to answer. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our various social media accounts, including Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can also download our FBC app to keep updated with the very latest in news and sports and listen to our 6 radio stations live. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanda.